Hi, I'm Angela Kelman, author of the 5-Point Singing System, and today we're going to do a quick little vocal warm-up. It's really important to warm up your voice before you sing. Much like an athlete needs to warm up their muscles, we need to warm up ours so that we don't go out to hit the big rock star or diva note and then hurt ourselves. So these are a few vocal warm-ups that will help you get into that shape before you can sing. So the first thing I always talk about is breathing. It's so important to get the right singer's breath. So a correct singer's breath is like a yoga breath where you take air in from the belly button up, but we take it in through our mouth. Yoga breathes through their nose, we breathe in through our mouth as singers. So I want you to put your hand on your tummy and take in a breath and sing la. So what's happening is air is coming in and you're pushing against your hand, filling up your tank so that's your fuel to sing with once your diaphragm is engaged. So let's do that one more time. In through your mouth, pop your tummy, and then pull your diaphragm support back and sing the la. Here we go, breathe. La. Great. So that's the breath I want you to take in between every pattern of the exercise. The first exercise we're going to do is a gentle ah pattern on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern of a major scale. That's the first 5 notes. Do, re, mi, fa, so. And if you're a guy, just start in your lowest note, on your lowest note when you can join in, because we're doing a girl range right now. But you'll be able to join in. So, take in your singer's breath and sing ah like the word saw. Here we go. Ah. Great. Release any air that you may have left over and take in a new breath. Ah. Great. Make sure your jaw is dropped and you're nice and open. New breath. Ah. Great. Ah. Now you might be noticing that the diaphragm support has to work a little harder on the top notes of that scale, and that's because we're getting into a new range of our voice, which I like to call diva rock star, and it needs a lot of effort from your diaphragm support. So let's do one more sequence of events. Singer's breath, diaphragm support, drop your jaw. Ah, great. New one. Big breath, big pull. Here we go. Ah, great. If you're having trouble making that last one or even the one before, switch the vowel sound to E. This switches what I call the vocal path, and that's the column of sound coming out. Ah is a very straight up and down vocal path, but if you go E, it tilts it slightly forward and makes it a little easier to sing. Now we're going to do something different, and that is we're going to switch placements. Placements are the area of your voice where your voice resonates, where the sound resonates. So for example, your low notes resonate down here in your chest placement. Mid-range notes are up here, what I call speaking voice or speaking tonality or full voice placement. I like to call this the big notes that we just did, rock star and diva, and this is where we're going mask, because it resonates in the mask area of our face. So what we're going to do is we're going to let go of the big diaphragm pull and just do what I like to say a gentle plunge down. And this puts us in this area of our voice. If you need to find it, put a little M in front of it. Me, we're switching to me, and make sure you drop your jaw. So take your breath. Doesn't have to be as big as when we were in Diva Rock Star, because now we're in a new, less air-demanding placement. Me. Going up, breath. Me. And if you're really in tune where that's, that sound is coming from, you can feel it buzz right here. Going up. Me. Great. Back down. Me. Make sure you're breathing before every pattern. Me. Really good. Now what I'm going to do is on that particular chord that we just played, or that scale we just played, that's kind of a transition chord. We're going to go back to the big breath, maximize your breath, then the big pull and the big drop of the jaw on E to go back to the rock star diva placement. So here we go, big breath, big pull, big drop on E. E. And you see how that changes the sound from the lighter area. Me. One's resonating here, and the other one's resonating here with the great big power that you would need for R&B songs, rock songs. You couldn't sing rock songs, R&B songs, metal songs, country songs in this placement. It wouldn't sound right. You'd sound like the church lady trying to sing rock and roll, which doesn't always work. Okay, so now that we're back into diva rock star placement, we know that we're maximizing our breath, pulling really hard to the backbone, and dropping our jaw to get that big powerful sound. Let's do another one. Big breath. E. And notice how open my mouth is on that E. I'm not pulling E. I'm thinking A. I'm Canadian A, but I'm singing E. Going down. Breathe. E. Good. Now the pulls are becoming less because we're getting out of our diva rock star and back into an area that doesn't need as much diaphragm support. E. Good. Let's go back to ah with the drop jaw. Ah. Good. Breathe. Ah. Those top notes aren't as demanding with the pull, are they? Nice. So you're getting a glimpse of how much air, as in breath, and how much diaphragm support is needed in different ranges of your voice. In your low notes, which live in your chest, hardly any diaphragm support is needed. By the time you hit your mid-range notes, a little bit of pulsing to the backbone is needed. By the time you hit your rock star diva, big breath, big pull, big drop, and you get the big powerful notes. And then we flip up into our mask area, and this is a change in diaphragm support where you let go and you just nicely plunge down. And if you need help finding your mask area, just put an in front and it'll vibrate here, and you're right there in your mask. Well done. So the next exercise we're going to do is a ha-ha on the 1-5 pattern. This is a really good diaphragm warm-up because it spans 5 notes. And what your diaphragm is doing on note 1 can be completely different from what it's doing on note 5. And you're going to see as we ascend in our range. So what happens here, same thing, we're going to take a breath, and there's 2 patterns, and I always take a little breath uptake in between the 2 patterns. So it's on ha and ha, like this. Ha, 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 ha. And again, note how open my mouth is. I'm not going ha, 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 ha. Makes all the difference in the world. Okay, new one, we're going up, breath. Ha, 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 ha. So what's starting to happen is I need a little pulse on that top note because I'm getting into that mid-range. Here we go. Breath. Ha, 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 ha. Needing more diaphragm support on the top, so get ready with bigger pulls to your backbone. Ha, 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 ha. Great. Okay, now we're going to switch to ha, he, okay? Keeping that jaw nice and open on the he, not going he, but he. And we're going to do, it's starting to get a little bit of support, diaphragm support on the bottom, but the top note, we're getting into that rock star diva, which needs a lot. So we're going to go ha, he. Ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha, ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha. Great. One more. We're going to switch the bottom one to he. It'll be he, and big pull, big drop on the top note. He, 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 he. Great, 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 great. That's the most most work you're going to do to get the most power out of those notes that are at the top end of your full voice in the diva rock star range. Now we're going to do something weird. We're going to stay in our mid-range with the bottom note, but we're going to flip to our mask with the top note. Now if you remember from the last exercise, that's a change in diaphragm support. So the first one is going to be a pull, and then the next one's going to be a little bit of a plunge, like this. Both on he, he. He, 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 he. So I'm pull, let go, and it flips me up into mask. And so an example of where you would use something like that is Adele's Rolling in the Deep. She does this very cool thing on the chorus where she goes, rolling in the deep. She flips into her mask for just one note and then back out by re-engaging her diaphragm support. This creates emotion, this creates texture, and this would be a nice little exercise to learn how to do that. So it's your turn. So you're going to go he, he, pull, release, or plunge. Pull, release. Okay, here we go. He, 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 he. Good, we're going up one more. Same thing, pull and plunge. He, 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 he. And again, note that I'm not going he, I'm going he. My jaw is really dropped and nice and open. Last one for this. He, 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 he. Good, going down. He, 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 he. Good, same thing here. Let's, yeah, he still. He, 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 he. Good. Now we're going to do ha, he, and we're going to go back to really big pull on the top so you stay in your diva rock star. Here we go. We're getting out a mask, so the diaphragm support is changing. Ha, he, breathe. Ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha, ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha. I also refer to this as the donkey exercise. Can you tell why? Hee haw. Here we go. We're back in. Now we're getting into bottom notes here, top notes here. So the bottom note doesn't need much of a pull, but the top note still does to stay in that really big, powerful diva rock star. Here we go. Singer's breath. Ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha, ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha. Great. Same thing here. Ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha, ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha. Good. Now we're getting out of this diva rock star zone, so it's not as demanding. You don't have to pull as hard on the top. Let's do one more ha, he. Ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha, ha, he, ha, he, ha, he, ha. It's dropped dramatically how much is needed. Diaphragm support is needed on that top note. Let's go back to ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Great, last one. Ha, 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 ha. So great, so what we just learned in that exercise through the 5-note span is that the higher we get into our diva rock star, the more air demanding and the more diaphragm demanding the notes are. But because we're 5 notes apart, you might have a note that's less demanding on the bottom, but you have to readjust for the top note. So that's good. Really good. This next exercise is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1 exercise, and it's a meld of the first 2 exercises we did. So we're going to use numbers, which gets us used to singing singing words as well as notes, not just vowel sounds. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. Great. So it's the jump on the top. So we know as we start going up into our range, this pull is going to become bigger. So here we go. Your turn. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. Good. Release any leftover air you may have for a completely new breath. That's really important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. Starting to need a little bit of a pull on the top note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. And again, if you can see my mouth, I'm really dropping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. I'm getting really demanding on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. Great. One more, really big. That's not the chord. Really big. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 1. Great. If you're having trouble singing the words, the numbers on that, go back to E and drop your jaw like this. E, E. Because again, it tilts your vocal path a little forward and makes it easier to sing. Now we're going to flip into our mask area. Let's put a M sound in front of the E, and we're going to go from this to this nice gentle push down. Okay, so here we go. Good, new breath. Not as big as was needed in the Diva Rockstar, but about a 50% of your tank. And I was a bit flat on the top, so I needed to push down a little bit. One more time. Mouth adjustment and that little extra will give you the right pitch. Last one. And we're in that classical sounding tonality, right? It's lighter and airier. Good, one more in this. Now this is a transition scale that I like to go either way. That was done in Mask. Now let's see if we can't flip it into Diva Rockstar. So what's that going to take? It's going to take bigger breath, big pull on the top of the scale, and a nice open drop jaw. Here we go. Lose the M because we're getting out of this area. We're just going to E. Here we go. Breathe. And I got my power back. It's not that lighter, airier mask tone. It's the big Diva Rockstar power. How'd I do it? Big breath, big pull, big drop. Going down. Was that? Yeah, there it is. The E. Here we go. Same thing. Top notes pretty or demanding. Here we go on E only. E. Good. One more. E. Great. Switch to ah. Ah. Great. The pull is becoming less demanding as we go down into our range. It's not a big forced pull. It's just a nice gentle little pulse. Great. There's some really good exercises for you to warm up your voice with. So make sure that before you go to sing that you do this. I also want to address the 5 points in my 5-point singing system so you know what they are and how they work together. Point 1, as we discovered, is breathing. It's the most important point. If you don't have your breathing right, nothing will work for you. And breathing works hand in hand with point 2, diaphragm support. So you saw how we filled our tank with air and then we engaged diaphragm support in varying degrees to get the right power of note out that we needed. In our chest voice, it didn't need any of this. Mid-range, we had to start pulsing a little bit. Diva Rockstar, we had to start really pulling and really dropping. And then in Mask, we switched the pull to the nice little plunge down and put an M in front of it so that we found that buzzy area up here where you wanted it to resonate. Point 3 is placement. Now placement, the way we breathe and how much diaphragm support will dictate what our placements are, right? So One placement is chest voice, where our low notes live. The next one is full voice speaking tonality. That's what I call them. And we're just starting to use a little bit of diaphragm support. This placement is called Diva Rockstar. It's your big powerful notes with big breath, big pull, big drop. And then this one is the lighter, airier mask placement. Some people call it head tone, some people call it falsetto, but I call it mask, which is a generic term for male and female. Point 4 is vocal path, and that is the direction of the sound column. And by our mouth shape, we can change that. So if you're straining a little bit on anything that's in your upper mid-range, the Diva Rockstar, sing the words on E. E with the drop jaw. E, and what that does is tilt the vocal path forward and makes it easier to sing. Because the further you are back in your head and the higher you go, the harder it is to sing, and you might create a little strain. So if you sing the big lines on E, if you're struggling, making sure you've taken your big breath, your big pull, and your big drop, sing it on E a couple of times, then go back to the words. And I guarantee you it'll be way less strained feeling if you sing it in that E vocal path. 5 is vowel modification. So the E dropping the A, Canadian A, and singing E, that is a prime example of vowel modification. The higher we go into our range, we often have to change our mouth shape so that it becomes easier to sing the notes and more effortless, because you're breathing great, you're pulling great, but if your mouth is too tight or the sides of your mouth is pulled back too far, it'll create strain all the way down. So drop that jaw, open up the vowel to create vowel modification. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at www.fivepointsingingsystem.com, and happy singing.